There are two reasons why you're watching this video right now. Number one, you and your partner finally decided to move ahead with your love life and decided to buy a flat together. Number two, you did not get a good queue number in the February BTO exercise, and here you are now hoping for a new chance in the May 2021 BTO. Now, regardless of the reason, don't worry. In this video, I'm going to break down the May 2021 BTO selection and do the analysis for you so that you don't have to. What's up guys, it's Christopher here back at Honey Money SG, and in this channel we help young adults to build their financial knowledge, teach money saving hacks, and also lead a fulfilling quality of life. So if you're new here and these topics interest you, consider subscribing. Now today's topic is on Singapore Public Housing, which is the BTO, which stands for Build to Order Flats. And I'm going to start this season off with the non-mature estates first. Now if you're familiar with the BTO process, the Housing Development Board of Singapore actually segregates its estates by the mature versus the non-mature estates. So in this video, we are going to talk more about the non-mature estates, which means these estates has less than 20 years of development and they are possibly quite far away from the city centre. So that means that they have a lower population density and thus have fewer amenities to support the smaller population. With that said, non-mature estates are generally priced lower than the mature estates, which are nearer to the city centre. Part of the reason is because they have a lower land price and the demand is much lesser at the non-mature estates. Before we start, how we are going to do this video is, I'm going to walk you through the analysis via the map provided by HDB as well as Google Maps and Street Directory, because that's all the data we have at this point in time. Okay, so if you're finding value in this video so far and interested to continue watching, please help me smash the like button so it helps in the YouTube algorithm. Your little appreciation goes a long way for me. First up, let's look at Tengah, the very new housing estate that HDB has focused on. Okay, so over here we have Tengah, which is the May 21 build to order selection. You can see we have a total of 780 flats. We don't have the breakdown yet as HDB will only provide this in the official launch. Okay, so we have to wait for that. Now what we do have here is the town map of the proposed site, and you can see that this is quite a fairly large site. The whole area of Tengah has not been developed at this point in time. They are probably still undergoing massive construction. Even the MRT lines, they are probably up in 6-7 years later. Tengah residents do have to be very patient. What we do note right here is that we have a Hong Kah MRT station. So that is very near to the proposed site here, which we don't know the name yet. But you can rest assured that next time, if this area ever develops, you'll probably get a very good walking distance to the MRT. Scrolling down, we can see the application rate of the past BTO projects in Tengah. So this is specifically for the 2-room flexi flats. For 2-room flexi flats, they are mostly for the seniors who are above a certain age, probably 60. I think you can see the overall application rate is not that high because not much demand, especially in the new Tengah estate. So how to read this chart is that you can look at the overall subscription rate. That means if the number is 1.4 for a single flat, there are 1.4 applications chasing after one flat. So if it's a number of 2, that means there are 2 applicants per single flat. Okay, so that's how you look at it. Okay, let's look at the 4-room flats. We don't have any 3-room flats this time for Tengah. Based on the past BTO launch, they have an overall subscription rate of 2.6 and 5.1, fairly popular for the 4-room flat types. And then 5-room, we have 4.1 and 7. 5-room flats are super popular in Singapore because most Singapore flats are very small in size. So a 5-room flat actually provides a very decent amount of space that large families can live in. So zooming out of the map, right, you can see that we are very near the Pan Island Expressway, or PIE. I'll probably say that's a 3 minutes drive out from the car park of this new proposed Tengah site. So very convenient for drivers if they need to commute somewhere else. Moving further up north, you can see that PIE merges with KJE, Kranji Expressway, which is a very good connection to the north area of Singapore as well. I'm going to depict this by showing you the Google map. This is where the Tengah site would be. We don't have the details on the Google map yet, but you can see that all this area is going to be Tengah development, and it's going to be a fairly large town next time. So very convenient for all these people. Okay, the one good thing about Tengah is that it is surrounded by a lot of greenery actually. You have a Bukit Batok Hillside Nature Park. You probably have a few more parks around in the neighborhood area. So you get a lot of clean and fresh air as well as scenery. But you do have to bear with the long development time because it really takes time to build up all these amenities. And right now with no development, the nearest shopping mall that you can go to is actually West Mall at Bukit Batok, which is somewhere here, and it probably takes you a bus ride of around 20 to 30 minutes, so it's rather inconvenient for the first few years of stay. We don't actually have much data on how the Tengah neighborhood will be like, but I'm probably guessing they are going to make it as a little town of its own. Shops, eateries, healthcare facilities, sports centers and all that, just like how Punggol was in the early time. Okay, coming back to the HDB map, you can see that there is a proposed health and medical care facility right here, just opposite the road. So if this is important to you, maybe you want to note this down. If you have an elderly or loved one who needs good accessibility to healthcare facility, I think this would be a good option for you because it's just right across the road. So very easy to follow up your medical checkups and your diagnosis. So there isn't much things to say about Tengah because most of the development has not been final yet. So everything is on the blueprint, but that's what we see right now. We can expect more developments coming along the way of Tengah. So my verdict for Tengah is as follows. It is definitely good for people who want to stay in a super new town with new facilities. And that also means you likely have a younger community because these are the young couples who just move into a new estate. But the downside is you have to bear with many years of inaccessible transport because the MRT and possibly the bus routes are not readily accessible. Of course, if you drive, then that is not too big of a problem. Next up, let's look at Woodlands, which is a popular non-mature estate recently as well. Okay, so this is the Woodlands site right now. We can see that there are 1,540 units ranging from 2R Flexi, 3-room, 4-room and 5-room for the Woodlands site. A lot of variety for flat owners to choose from. And this site is actually situated in between Woodlands MRT and Marsiling MRT station. So I wouldn't say it's like an easy walking distance between these two stations. It probably takes like 10 to 15 minutes to walk to either of these stations. But what I can see from HDB's map here is that you can see there's actually a lot of development existing already within the estate. So we'll take a look at the Google map later. Now let's look at the application rate of the past BTO in Woodlands. For 2-room Flexi, we have a 2.6 overall application rate. For 3-room flat, that's 6.2 for the Urban View at Woodlands, which was a very popular project last year. So 6.2 is fairly competitive. Now let's look at 4-room. 4-room application rate for Champions Bliss and Urban View last year was 5.8. So it's also quite highly competitive even for a non-mature estate like Woodlands. And then for 5-room, you can see it's 9.8. Super competitive if you were to look at the Urban View Woodlands. That was the last launch, but that's because last launch was super near the MRT and very convenient prime location, so that's why the Urban View application rate was off the roof. I would expect this time the application rate not to be that high because it's much further away from the MRT compared to the past application. Now let's take a look at Google Map for this Woodlands site, right? You can see that it's basically this big plot of land in the middle of Woodlands and Marsiling station. And if we pull out the satellite view, yes, this is the green patch of land that's undeveloped right here. So you can see from this map, we are actually quite near the Woodlands MRT, though I would say it's probably a 15 minutes walk. And then coming back, let's take a look around the estate. Okay, we can see that there's a Fair Price right here. That's probably a 5 minutes walk from the Woodlands BTO site at the Woodgrove. So Woodgrove is a neighboring shopping mall near this Woodlands site. And then there's even a Woodlands Mega Park. Okay, I don't know what is this, but quite nice to have a park in your neighborhood so you can have a breath of fresh air. And then there's even a treehouse park. Wow, Woodlands, very nice area. We have park all around us even though we are a HDB estate. If you look further up in the north, we have Marsiling Mall, which is an integrated hawker center cum neighborhood shopping estate. So you have your Sheng Siong supermarket over here, you have your hawker center, so I assume you have very cheap food options in the range of $3 to $4 of hawker fare. So very good food options around for this Woodlands BTO. Another good thing is actually you have the Active SG Sports Center. So for people who are not familiar, these are your sports facilities set up for the public to use. And that includes a swimming pool, gym and stadium for you to do your track and field. So very good amenities for the Woodlands BTO. Another good thing about Woodlands BTO is we have Causeway Point, which is situated at Woodlands MRT. So if you take just a short bus ride, you can reach the Woodlands MRT very fast and you can go to Causeway Point, which is a major shopping mall with all the movies, cinema, supermarket and department stores that you can shop in. There's even the Woodlands Regional Library along the MRT area at Woodlands Civic Center, so you can do some reading, bring your kids there for education. I think that is a very good family bonding activity. And not to forget, Woodlands also have the Thomson East Coast Line, the new Brown Line, which connects you to Orchard in 30 to 40 minutes. That is opening up in 2023. Let's take a look at the surrounding schools as well. We have Xilin Primary School right within the walking distance. I would say that's around a 5 minutes walk from your house to the Xilin Primary School. So very convenient here. We also have Fuchun Primary School and Secondary School, which is probably an 8 minutes walk from your house. if you are applying for the Woodlands BTO. So yeah, this estate actually looks more like a mature estate to me because it has so many amenities around the surrounding area such that you don't have to go too far out to look for things that you need. Okay, and then if you want to venture out even further to the west, you can see the Marsiling Shopping Estate. That's where you have your Phoon Huat, all the neighborhood stores that you can shop around. So quite a vibrant neighborhood, I would say. And then for my driver friends, it's just a short drive from this estate. You can connect it very well to the SLE within 5 minutes. I think another good point for Woodlands is for people who like to visit the Johor Bahru or Malaysia for their weekend trips. They can also drive up very fast. It's very near the Woodlands checkpoint. That's when the pandemic dies down, by the way. So I would say the pros of this Woodlands BTO is it will probably be quite a quiet neighborhood if you're buying the inward facing units because it only has a small slip road connecting to the district. And you actually have a lot of food options and grocery stores, so you won't run out of options if you need to do this stuff. Now the cons of this site is that it is not really walking distance to the MRT stations, so you probably have to take a short bus ride if you don't want to walk for 15 minutes to the MRT. So my verdict for this Woodlands BTO is that it is good for families who want to stay a bit further from the town area because this area is quite self-sufficient with all the amenities and the facilities provided. There is also strong potential in the price appreciation given how the government plans to develop Woodlands as the next regional hub. And also I believe the price would be relatively affordable, so it's good for people who do not want to spend a lot of money on public housing. Another strong point is that it's definitely convenient for people who want to travel to Malaysia often to visit their friends and family or even do some shopping over at JB. Alright, now let's compare the two within Tengah and Woodlands. Which one is the winner? Okay, I'm going to take some of the price estimates from SRX, a popular property website based in Singapore. And here are the prices that we have seen. And this is the price that they estimate for the 4-room flats and the 5-room flats. You can see that SRX actually puts Woodlands at a slightly higher price range than Tengah. But I don't believe that is the case. Based on past trend, Woodlands have always been launched at a cheaper price than Tengah. So I would say if you are going from a price consideration point, at the same price point, Woodlands will stand a better chance because there are more units in the first place and it has more amenities to support your daily needs. The whole area around Woodlands is almost like a mature estate with its own grocery stores, hawker centers, sports facilities. There's also strong potential to appreciate in price given the government efforts in developing Woodlands. And you probably stand a better chance because Woodlands have more units offered this time round. The strong point of Tengah is because it is an eco-living estate and also a car-like environment. So it probably promotes a lot of sustainability living and it's also walking distance to the Hong Kah MRT by 2027. If you're patient enough, you can wait for it to grow to be the next Punggol or Sengkang estate. So wrapping up, I hope this video helped you decide which non-mature estate to go for. And if you have found value in this video today, I hope you can like and share it to your friends and family who may promote this video as well. Remember to subscribe to the channel for more analysis like this on BTO. My name is Christopher, this is Honey Money SG, and I'll see you on the next one.